Hello everyone and welcome back to a brand new video where today we're here for round 4 of season 2 of the F1 22 Haas Road to Glory. Yes, it's been a little while since we jumped into the last race of this series. If you missed out last week's Australian Grand Prix, probably one of the best races I've ever had on F1 22. I would highly recommend going back and checking out. Of course, there will be spoilers in just a moment, so definitely this is your chance to go back and check out the Australian Grand Prix. It'll be linked up there in the top right-hand corner of your screens. But yeah, we're back though at Imola this weekend. Of course, the first sprint race of the new season, and I'm going to be trying to do things a little bit differently now. I've been listening to your guys' comments on both this series and my team. We're going to try today with both the sprint race and the main event all in one video. So this one's probably going to be very, very long. Of course, there will be timestamps linked down below as well if you just sort of want to skip to certain points during the video as well. But yeah, at the moment, we're doing alright so far this year. You can see we've got plenty of upgrades hopefully to go on the car. Some of them for this weekend. So we'll wait and see if they get applied in just a second. Championship-wise, though, Sergio Perez still leads the way. They're 6 points clear of Carlos Sainz. But we're up to P4, ahead of both Charles Leclerc and Lewis Hamilton there. Kevin Magnussen, a fantastic 7th place as well. So constructors-wise, we're P3, just 15 points behind Ferrari early on here in Season 2. We really have kicked on strong at the start of the season. Like I said, hopefully if these upgrades go on the car, which we won't find out for just a second, we'll go with some rain jackets, I suppose. Never seen that before on F1 22, but are we going to get those upgrades that we crucially need for the car? Yes, we are. So that's going to help us out massively then, and hopefully a few more R&D points as well. So this means now, performance-wise, we've jumped Mercedes. We're now tied with Red Bull, and pretty much, yeah, just a single upgrade behind Ferrari. So things are looking pretty good early on in this campaign. Don't think we can go with any other worthwhile upgrades at the moment, so we will just hold off, I think, for now. But yeah, we're making good progress early on in Season 2. Of course, a massive thank you to all of you as well for the insane and continued support. We're now incredibly close to 90,000 subscribers. So if you're not already, please do make sure you get yourself subscribed as well. But let's get into it. Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix weekend. Let's start out. Friday night qualifying, sprint race, main race. This is going to be quite an adventure. And here we are then, qualifying from Imola once more. Of course, yeah, Friday night qualifying sessions just hit a little bit different, especially if you're Haas nowadays. Of course, happy memories from at least, yeah, Friday in Brazil. The rest of the weekend didn't quite go the way I'm sure they would have wanted, but fingers crossed we can try and put the car up towards the front of the grid here today. I mean, it shouldn't be a track that suits our car as well as the previous 3 Grand Prix. Imola can often be quite an eye-opening experience on F1 22. It's also a track where the AI can be phenomenally strong as well. But I've had a quick look at the weather. It's going to get unpredictable this weekend. Apparently the sprint race tomorrow is meant to be wet to dry, and then the main race on Sunday is going to be dry to wet. So anything can happen here, and I think just qualifying as high at the grid as possible to make sure you try and avoid plenty of the carnage is probably going to be quite key. But yeah, we could be in for quite an unpredictable weekend here from Emilia-Romagna. But we'll wait and see what we can do. First qualifying lap so far has felt pretty tidy for the most part. Just checking into the chicane now. A little bit of a horrible run actually through, I think, the Variante Alta at the top of the hill. But as we head back down in towards the final couple of corners, Sebastian Vettel sets a provisional benchmark of a 1:16.4. Where are we going to go in comparison to that at the final turn? Up towards the line. Hopefully we should be quicker than Seb at least. Up over the line, it's going to be a 15.4, so a second clear, and somehow Verstappen between Seb and Latifi. That's not good. I'm getting ready then for our final lap here of qualifying. We're actually in quite a lot of traffic at the moment, so we've got to be very, very careful of Esteban Ocon behind us, who I'm sure, to be honest, is probably saying some not particularly positive words on the radio. But yeah, sat P5 provisionally. Not actually a lot of time between us and the front cars there. McLaren really seem to have taken a leap forward as well here at Imola. So yeah, let's just get our head down and focus on this final lap. They're attacking the curbs nicely through the first couple of turns. They're marginally down as we head into the Villeneuve chicane. Down the one gear through the first part. A lot of curb there as well, and it's just compromising us a little bit of time early on in the lap. Wave to myself through Tosa as we now head up the hill. Yeah, perhaps that first lap was even stronger than I thought. We're going to have to try and make up time through the chicane. I know around here we lost a bit last time through, and there we go. Pretty much back down to level pegging as we head through Aqua Minerale. Just open up the corner as best as possible, and now the time is starting to go in our favour at the moment as we head back up for about 65 metres. Oh, attack the curbs nice and early on the way in. Try to get nice and easy on the throttle on the way out there. Purple through the middle sector as there goes Max Verstappen. A 1:15.2, so we need to nail these final couple of turns if we want to be anywhere near the front of the grid there. A little bit ragged through the penultimate corner, but up towards the line we are going to improve. It's not going to be enough for pole, but it is going to be P3 on the grid. We'll take that. That could have been slightly better, but it could have also been a whole lot worse. Well, there we go then. It is actually Carlos Sainz fastest at Ferrari, or one of Ferrari's home Grand Prix this weekend there, but look at that. Kevin Magnussen, 3/10 off pole, down in 10th place there. Esteban Ocon, half a second away from pole, is only good enough for P13 here. We really have reached quite an insane level of parity currently in Formula 1 there. But yeah, now we've got the sprint race to try and navigate first of all. 11 laps ahead of us. Like I said, changeable conditions as well are predicted. This could get interesting. Formula 1 is finally back in 2022, and now you can rep your favourite teams. Of course, using the F1 store, every team now has merch lineups available, whether you're an Aston Martin fan, a Williams fan, Mercedes, Ferrari, Red Bull, the choice is completely up to you. But yeah, check out the F1 merch store down below for all the official releases from all of the teams. And of course, as always, if you use our links as well, you massively help support the channel. So yeah, give it a look and see if there's anything you like.
Well, the weather is not looking good today. We're expecting the downpours to continue into today's sprint. This will make for some very tricky conditions for all the teams. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks for today's sprint. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Max Verstappen lines up alongside. As we continue through the rest of the grid today, we have Mr. Monaco, Leclerc, Sergio Perez, and Norris, Hamilton, Ricciardo, Russell, and Kevin Magnussen, Albon, Gasly, Esteban Ocon, and Vettel, Tsunoda, Stroll, Mick Schumacher, and Valtteri Bottas, Joe, and Nicholas Latifi. And with preparations almost complete, let's head trackside for today's sprint.
Okay, this is our engine supplier's home Grand Prix, so let's give them a race worth watching.
Right, well here we are then, trackside for today's sprint race, and let's have a look at what the weather's saying. Look at that, it is meant to go from wet to dry, so is it worth bolting on a set of intermediate tyres here for the start and just praying that we can try and hang on and the track does dry up quite quickly? That's what I'm thinking about going with a gamble. Then again, we might look like an absolute moron, and it's still very, very early on in the championship. I mean, in 11 laps, we could generally see 2 pit stops between wets to inters and then inters to dries as well. So we'll just try and keep it plain and simple, I think, ready for the start of this one. But yeah, this could get quite crazy here from Imola. Only 11 laps, and there is the opportunity for a lot to happen. To be honest, going around this reconnaissance lap, looking at all the puddles on the circuit, I think we've made the right choice. Intermediates here, we'd probably lose a pit stop in about 4 laps. There really is the potential for anything to happen today, and to be honest, I'm quite excited about it. Ready to line up on the grid here for the sprint race from Imola. We know how crazy wet races around this track can be. 2022's was not exactly the best in the world, but it was still an interesting race. Now had a couple of good storylines. there we go, lining up nicely on the grid, angling ourselves down towards the run in towards turn 1. I love the fact you can't even see turn 1, the first braking zone on this circuit. One of very, very few Formula 1 circuits where that is the case. We're waiting for the last couple of cars then to line up on the grid. Let's see if we can try and get a good start here in these very, very tricky conditions. Waiting on the 5 red lights then. Sprint race Saturday here from Imola. And it is lights out and away we go. And actually getting off to a decent start there, but so is Max Verstappen as we head down towards someone. And immediately he's going to fly past Carlos Sainz in towards the first corner there. Sainz a lot of moving into the braking zone, as I think we just got a little bit of contact from behind there. Big lockups down in towards turn 1, but just about managed to allow the rotation through the tyres. There is Hamilton and Sergio Perez side by side out of the first couple of turns. Looks like Perez has pulled off that move, so I'm in a P4 there, so neither Ferrari getting away very well. But he certainly was Charles Leclerc that was alongside me. Sergio Perez, very, very aggressive there, trying to have a look up the inside in towards Tosa. Of course, knows the pressure in the Drivers' World Championship, so needs to have another solid weekend out here in Imola. But Verstappen has had the dream start that he would have wanted. Carlos Sainz as well, just pulling away from me slightly, as we're struggling to adapt to the conditions early on here. Got to be very, very careful as we head back up the hill. Just got to try and keep it clean and tidy on these opening couple of laps. Like I said, this sprint race is only 11 laps. Whoa, that was aggressive over the curbs. I'll hold my hands up and admit that one was not quite... I had kind of forgot what the second curve was through there. But yeah, like I said though, of course, 11 laps in this sprint race. Plenty of opportunities for some differing strategies to come into play and things like that if the track does dry up as predicted there. But yeah, certainly haven't got the pace to match Sainz or Verstappen by the end of lap 1. We are definitely focusing on our mirrors a lot more than the cars in front of me, but we have survived. We've kept it clean, we've kept it tidy, and ultimately that's all we can really ask for. Well, to be honest, I thought the setup I was running this weekend was actually geared a lot more towards sort of tricky conditions. Thought I'd whacked quite a lot of front wing on, but apparently not enough still. I was only losing about half a second that time, the cars in front, as we're still trying to build up confidence. But lap 3 of 11 already, and Sainz and Verstappen are kind of checking out at the front. That being said though, there are a few dry lines starting to form around the circuit. A couple less puddles are slowly being shifted, but yeah, Max Verstappen 27.8, this lap's felt good, 27.6, there we go. So now we're up to pace here. Maybe we can start trying to apply pressure again and winding in that gap as Verstappen now a second clear over the Spaniard behind him, and of course former Toro Rosso teammate. That seems like an incredibly long time ago now. Right, okay, so teams still don't believe it's ready to move on to a set of intermediates. I'm starting to get to the point, to be honest, where it might never be worth making the switch. So yeah, definitely happy that we didn't gamble it on those inters at the start, but it's whether anyone else does later on, and we just have to try and hang out here on a set of full wets. Oh! Verstappen's looped it round! Verstappen, an unlikely error there from the Dutchman, as Carlos Sainz then will inherit the lead of the Grand Prix, and Verstappen, that has completely ruined his afternoon. Oh, we got a safety car as well because of it. I've just realised I've got broadcast safety cars still on in this career mode. This might... Oh, I wish I'd disabled that. Verstappen's been disqualified for parking in a dangerous location. I'm so worried this is about to screw us. Well, having a look then down the roster, Kevin Magnussen up one place so far, up to 9th, but I mean, yeah, still not in a points-paying position at the moment. Championship leader Sergio Perez still just behind us, but yeah, the top two exactly the same as it was last time out with the broadcast, or sorry, back in Saudi Arabia with the broadcast safety car, but I'm just praying it doesn't do anything stupid with tyre strategy. Right, safety car in then at the end of lap 7, but it's still looking very, very wet around this circuit. Are we going to be able to try and apply some pressure to Carlos Sainz out of the final corner? Let's wait and see, but yeah, we're definitely going to remember to disable that broadcast safety car after this race, as our Sainz there gets the jump off the restart, but we've still got a lot of top-end speed against that Ferrari as we sit in the wheel tracks on the run back down towards turn 1. We've got yellow flags out again. Perez, both Red Bulls with issues in this sprint race here, and Sergio Perez now is flown back down the order there, so I can only guess he's having a mechanical failure, and Sergio Perez is out of the Grand Prix as well, so both Red Bulls out in a handful of laps here in the sprint race, and that does really badly damage their early Constructors' Championship lead. Their championship leader, Perez, out of the sprint race here from Imola, joins his teammate, Max Verstappen. Carlos Sainz, though, waltzing away from me once more off the restart, but I know, just before the safety car, we actually had pretty good pace against him. Team reckon 10 minutes, it will dry up, when no one, I wouldn't have thought, is going to make the switch to dries, inters. But we've just got to see if we can try and work away past Carlos. Well, the race hasn't been as unpredictable conditions-wise as we'd originally anticipated, but I certainly didn't have a double Red Bull DNF wall on my predictions for this sprint race, but they're going to be starting right from the back of the field in the main event tomorrow. Carlos Sainz, new fastest lap, will go 3/10 faster though. We've definitely got a bit of extra pace over the Spaniard, but 2 laps to go. Are we going to be able to try and find a way past him? Maybe I think it would be our first ever sprint race victory on F1 22. I remember back on F1 2021 we had a 100% race here at Imola, which came down to a battle on the final lap between myself and Carlos Sainz, and I think if I remember correctly we pulled off a move into the penultimate corner of a 63 lap GP. Not quite as many laps today, but a similar sort of battle, although that being said, that was only for a podium. This is for the race victory there. 8 points available for the win, 7 points if you come through for P2. But as we head back down the hill, you know, we're not bad in the rain. Australia proved that. We're able to hang on quite nicely, but are we going to be able to find a way around Carlos Sainz there? A bit of a wobble as we take far too much curb out of the final corner. And look at just how early the Ferrari is able to get on the power there. Another new fast lap of the day that we would really love. Try and make sure we keep that bonus point away from Carlos in front, but the problem we have is we're quicker really through the middle sector and there's no opportunities to overtake through there. Bit of a wobble again. So we head through turn 1 and turn 2, and now Sainz just able to build up a little bit of a gap once more. That Ferrari car very, very planted in these conditions. Still, this Haas car a little bit more loose and lively at the moment, a little less refined, if you will. But as we head out of Tosa for the final time, the gap upwards of a second. We have both pulled away from Lewis Hamilton behind. He's going to get Mercedes' first technically podium of the year, but yeah, Sainz I think has just about got enough in the back pocket. I think rather annoyingly he's probably going to nick my fastest lap again. So we always seem to be able to get good drive out of Aqua Minerale, take a couple of tenths out of him there, and then through the chicane as well. But Carlos Sainz lost the lead at the start. Max Verstappen then looped it round under not exactly that much pressure. But Sainz since then has never really looked back. A few laps after the safety car, he's just been in control, down in towards the final corners of the sprint race here. It's going to be P2 in the end, another good solid haul of points. But really would have loved to have got the jump on Carlos there. Out of the final corner, up towards the line. It's going to be P2 for the start of the weekend.
Nice work, mate. You did really well today. I think the boss is going to be happy with that one.
So let's review the updated driver standings. Carlos Sainz now leads the Drivers' Championship as a result of his great performance today. Let's move on to the Constructors. It was a tough race for our championship leaders who lose ground at the top of the table. With the sprint wrapped up, we now have our grid lineup for the big race tomorrow. Be sure to join us then for what will no doubt be a fantastic race.
Well, there we go then. Sprint race done and dusted here from Imola, and it is Carlos Sainz to get the race victory there. 8 tenths clear of myself. Hamilton 7th to 3rd though. A fantastic drive from our fellow Brit there, beating out Charles Leclerc. Both McLarens into the points as well, ahead of George Russell there. Albon as well, 11th to 8th. Very good job done by him. K-Mag not able to make much of an impact in the sprint today. But championship-wise, it does mean Carlos Sainz now into the lead of the World Championship. We're up to P3 though, between both Red Bulls, so we could easily be P2 if Sergio Perez fails to score as well. But yeah, there we go then. Sprint race done and dusted. Now we've got the big one ahead of us now. Red Bull now just a 10-point lead in the Constructors' Championship. But let's get into it. Imola GP time. This channel is proudly sponsored by Bybit, the official crypto partner of Red Bull's Formula 1 team. I've been using their platform for my personal crypto savings over the last few months, and when they got in touch to support the channel, I was super excited. Currently, they're offering you guys a special new promo for the first 100 of you to deposit $10 or more onto the platform. You'll get another $10 free. Also, 5 lucky winners will get their initial deposit doubled up to $1,000. That means if you deposited $1,000 onto the platform using my codes below, you could be within a chance to get another $1,000 completely free. We've seen the landscape around crypto drastically change over the last couple of years, and I genuinely believe it holds an important place in our future. However, please be careful as always when trading, as you are liable to lose money. But if you're interested and you're 18 or older, click the link down below to get started and see why Red Bull and myself, as well as thousands of others, trust Bybit as their crypto.
Welcome once again to the Autodromo Internazionale Enzo e Dino Ferrari. The clue's in the name. This is very much Ferrari home turf, and the locals will be out in force today to support their team in what we hope will be a magnificent spectacle of motorsport. On then to the Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix. One lap of Imola, anti-clockwise of course, unlike most Formula One circuits, will take our drivers round 3.1 miles of track. 19 turns, 9 right-handers and 10 to the left. Drivers will need to be precise at the hairpin at turn 7, given the subsequent uphill section. Without a good exit from that corner, they'll lose a lot of time on that stretch. Off the back of a fantastic qualifying session, it's time to see how our starting grid looks like for today's race. An immense lap from Carlos Sainz yesterday puts him in pole position, and Mr. Monaco completes the front row. Considering the rest of the grid, we have Hamilton, Leclerc, Lando Norris and Ricciardo, Russell, Albon, Magnussen and Pierre Gasly, Ocon, Tsunoda, Lance Stroll and Vettel, Mick Schumacher, Joe, Valtteri Bottas and Nicholas Latifi, Verstappen and Sergio Perez completes our grid. With preparations almost complete, let's head down to the track. Also here, of course, is Anthony Davidson. Let's discuss Red Bull. We have a number of changes to the aerodynamic regulations this year, and the signs haven't looked good for them so far in terms of getting to grips with those changes.
There are a few downcast looks within the team this weekend. I think they've been hit fairly hard by the new regs. But this is only the first step down a long road of development, and even if they don't maximise their points today, there are plenty more up for grabs this season.
After the points finished last race, let's aim to keep that momentum going.
Right, well here we are then on the grid, ready for Sunday's feature race. And like I said, oh there we go, not too bad on the changeable conditions front. There might just see a little bit of rain towards the end of this one. And if you guys remember all the way back to Season 1 of the Haas Road to Glory here from Imola, the same thing happened, and Zhou Guanyu ended up becoming a Grand Prix winner in just his 4th ever race for Alfa Romeo. So we might see something similar today, you never quite know. But feel like it's a bit unfair to say Red Bull have been hit by the regs quite hard when you think they're still leading the Constructors' Championship. They just had a bit of a nightmare yesterday, but I wouldn't be surprised if they get both cars back at the very least towards the points here in the feature. But yeah, Carlos Sainz alongside us then on the front row. We need to try and get a good start here today, see if we can launch past him at turn 1. I'm hoping our car is a bit quicker in the dry than it was in the wet, but you just don't know. We'll wait and see. Right, we'll get him ready then to line up on the grid here for the Imola GP, of course. Carlos Sainz just in front of us, Hamilton, Charles Leclerc just behind, and we want to try and make sure we get a good start here for this race today. 32 more laps ahead of us. And fingers crossed, you know, we might just have some pace for the win, of course. Didn't quite have the wet setup I thought I had, but damn it. Did, however, hopefully, going to have quite a good dry setup for this one. So let's get into it, though. Hopefully we can try and cover off as many cars as possible. Just waiting on those Red Bulls. Pierre Gasly's out of the race? I've never seen that before. Gasly's out before we even got going here. 5 red lights. And it is lights out. And away we go with Charles Leclerc. Tried to get to the inside of me then. No opportunity for that. As we head down towards turn 1, as we're going to tuck in behind Lando Norris there. But what's going on at the rear of the field there? Pierre Gasly out already. I think he's caused carnage before we've even got going. Well, let's have a look at this then. You can see Pierre Gasly trying to get going in this Grand Prix there, but the car's already broken down. I have never seen that before on F1 22. Unfortunately, he's now just going to skip us onto another car. But yeah, Gasly has just completely made that start carnage because he can't go anywhere. Never had that before on the F1 games, and I don't know which Alfa Romeo it is, but they have been well and truly screwed at the start here. Somehow that hasn't led to more carnage down at the first turn, but I guess it has thinned out the field slightly and also been a massive help to Red Bull because it's meant they've been able to sneak their way past a couple of cars here, but Carlos Sainz then leads the way as we head up the hill on lap 1. Charles Leclerc is trying to go for moves absolutely anywhere. Just avoid him at the top of the hill there, as George Russell will say thank you very much. But have you ever had a car retire before the start of a Grand Prix? It's something I've genuinely never seen before on this game. Anyway, though, for us, we've got bigger things to worry about, like how can we close back up to Lando Norris? That is not the line through the Variante Alta, sorry, I should say. But Sainz, yeah, led most of the Grand Prix yesterday, of course, after Max Verstappen's spin. Hamilton, though, might be able to apply some pressure today. Had a rough qualifying session Friday night. Made good gains, though, at the start of the sprint race yesterday. And looks to try and do the same today there, as shout out to Lando Norris, of course, the only man outside of the big three teams to get a podium in real life 2022. He did it, of course, at Imola. Could he repeat that feat today?
Okay, clear.
Yellow flag's now gone, but yeah, I mean, that also means that Red Bull powertrains have had 3 car failures in about 12 laps here, so really not what they would want. Across the sprint and the main event, they might have to go back to the drawing board, but we need to get our head down and focus and push up towards Lando. There we go, new fast lap of the day. We are definitely down, but not out, because they still haven't got rid of Gasly's car. It's still running. I swear I just heard the power unit still on in that AlphaTauri. I'm very confused, and to be honest, a little bit worried. There we go then, I think it's Verstappen who had to box at the end of lap 1 out of those 2 Red Bulls, so it might not have helped him as much as we'd originally thought there. Sergio Perez going side by side with, I think, Lance Stroll into Aqua Minerale, but yeah, we're closing up on the top 3 once more here. I'm amazed Lando Norris has been able to hang on to the coattails of the Merc and the Ferrari in front of him, but McLaren seem to be making progress towards the front of the grid at the moment. The other thing I've just thought, here Gasly, if that car's never going to move today, that's yellow flags pretty much in a key overtaking place, one of the only overtaking places around this circuit, so that might be a bit of an issue. We can only hope that if someone else retires we get a safety car and it clears out both cars, but yeah, that's going to make things quite difficult to try and time a run. Well, but it has taken us a little while to get right up to the gearbox of Lando Norris, but just trying to settle in for this afternoon's race as well, of course. And there's no point absolutely destroying the tyres early on if you're not going to have the pace and the confidence later in the race. Lines like that, though, aren't going to help us out of the final corner. But yeah, I'm just thinking, Lando Norris hasn't lost the DRS to Hamilton there. They're still getting feisty down towards turn 1 with each other. I mean, it is green flag racing by the time you get into the braking zone, so it is probably going to be trying to make a move off the corner rather than into it. But yeah, Gasly, that might have screwed us all. Through the final corner we'll go once again. Now we try and get a run on Lando Norris as we get towards 1/4 distance in this Grand Prix. The McLaren's still got the DRS there, as there goes Hamilton on Carlos Sainz for the lead of the Grand Prix. They're still going to be side by side when they get in towards turn 1 there. Hamilton, though, will muscle his way through. Lando Norris will just get a little bit slowed down there. We're going to try and have a look around the outside of the McLaren into the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. Oh, a little bit of contact between myself and Lando, but we do pull off the move then, so 2 cars making overtakes on lap 8 of this Grand Prix, and Carlos Sainz for the first time today won't lead the race, but Hamilton from 7th on the grid yesterday into the lead in just 20 laps across both Grand Prix. That has been a fantastic little start to this weekend, and Hamilton on a sprint weekend still just comes alive. So we've now suddenly got a run on Sainz out of Aqua Minerale to the outside. We'll go into the chicane, won't be able to do anything here. Sainz will just try and get the run off the corner. With a line like that, we absolutely will not. Again, Sainz not getting the run in the traction zones here. I think desperate to try and keep up with Lewis Hamilton, and it is compromising him. As we'll try and get a run on Sainz back down towards turn 1. Oh, the Ferrari's just going to try and close the door. We will get to the inside, though, at the first corner, and Sainz is going to lose 2 places in 2 laps. Down to P3 goes Carlos Sainz as Lando Norris under increasing pressure from Charles Leclerc, but Hamilton now bolting away at the front of the field. We have got good pace though in this Haas car, but Mercedes definitely turning up the wick in overall performance, as that is not the line you want at Tosa. Sainz and I both just making mistakes at the moment, as he's going to try and look up the inside at the top of the hill, but we'll do the old up and under. Thank you very much. P2 will remain ours. So there we go. Starting lap 12, Lando Norris now trying to pull off a move on Carlos Sainz, so Ferrari might just be a little bit more abrasive on their tyres early on in this GP, but we've now closed up to Hamilton. We've got one of the Williams just in front of us. I'm not a betting man, but if I was, I'd be more inclined to believe that would be Nicholas Latifi. Yeah, can we try and think about maybe lining up a move on Hamilton before we even get to the pit stop window? Pace today has been very, very strong. It did just take a little while to get into it. Yeah, it is Nicholas Latifi just up the road there. I think both he and Verstappen about to make 2 pit stops already in this Grand Prix. Look to try and go to the end this afternoon, but I want to try and extend this medium stint a little bit longer into the race. If Hamilton gets DRS on Latifi, there's no way we're going to be able to pull off this move back down towards turn 1, but if he hasn't, I think he probably has, then it's game on. So we head down in towards the first braking zone here, and look at that, Hamilton, he has got the DRS, but it's still game on. As we'll have a look to the outsider, Lewis Hamilton in towards the first corner. Latifi's panicking, he doesn't know what to do under the yellow flags, and Latifi! That was the last thing you wanted to do. How on earth did we pull that move off on Hamilton still? What was that from Nicholas Latifi? Just brake checked me and we had to thread the needle. Hamilton will come back up the inside on the exit. And it's just, a little bit of contact there off the corner. Latifi's trying to get back involved, but I've never had anything like that on the F1 games before. Latifi, we're too wide heading down towards someone and he just decided to brake right in front of me there. Not good from the Williams, but somehow we all come out of it unscathed. Although we know we've definitely got good top-end speed then against Lewis Hamilton here as he gets another wobble out of the final corner. Are we now going to be able to try and look for a run as we head back down towards someone there? Give the Merc room, and look at that, we're ahead of him before we even get to the yellow flag zone there, so Hamilton's not going to be able to do anything about it. We will swap then into the lead for the first time today here at Imola. A little bit of a wobble, sorry, second time today. Of course, he did lead briefly last time round, as Hamilton again though getting a good run into the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. This time round though will hang on, have a bit more confidence in the car. There is yellow flags. What's Hamilton done? Suddenly Hamilton round. And looking on board then from Lewis Hamilton as we head out the first couple of corners. He tries to get to the inside. No contact between us, just Hamilton gets way too leery on the throttle over the curbing and has to try and rejoin the circuit with a lot of places lost. And suddenly for us that means we've got a big old lead at the front of the field here, 2.5 seconds over still battling Carlos Sainz, Lando Norris and Charles Leclerc there. Alex Albon and his Alpine up into P5. What a race it's been so far for them after a fairly quiet start to the year. It's Kevin Magnussen, I think, still kicking around about 7th place, but now we just got to try and get to the pit window, and we've got a little bit of time in hand. Charles Leclerc then, after a retirement last weekend, looks to have even more issues here. It seems like we're just one of the only top cars that isn't running into issues there, as that is not the line through the Gilles Villeneuve chicane. I just realised I completely forgot to pit at the end of that last lap, and obviously we can't box this time around because Kevin will want to come in, so we're going to have to try and extend this stint a little bit longer. Oopsie poopsie. That was something else I forgot to consider as well this afternoon. Rain still predicted towards the end. How will that affect things later on in the Grand Prix? We just need to keep building up this gap at the front, just so we can cover off during the changeable conditions. So there we go, everyone else into the pit lane then at the end of lap 16. We are just going to have to go the one extra here. Kevin Magnussen very briefly into P2. But yeah, boy, what is my obsession with running wide through the Gilles Villeneuve chicane suddenly? Perhaps just believing these tyres have got a bit more grip left on them than they actually have. I think Hamilton... Oh yeah, of course he spanned, didn't he? I was going to say Hamilton's dropped down the order, but then I remembered he was already down the order once more. We just need to box the end of this one and make sure we've still got our lead. Out of the final corner though, about to box into the pits then at the end of lap 17. Make sure we get the car slowed down nice and tidy, which we do. Suddenly had a panic that it was 37 miles an hour here. You can tell we're doing a lot more racing in the F2 cars in recent weeks, but getting ready then, of course, last pit box still in the lane. 2.2 to 2.5, it reckons. Please, no issues on the stop. 2.4, that's pretty good going. And we should re-emerge then in the lead still of the Grand Prix. Always such a long pit lane here as well at Imola. As Sainz and Norris out of the final couple of turns. They have put up a little bit of a gap there, as yeah, not too sure how they've done that, but yeah, we are going to re-emerge then still in the lead of the Grand Prix, and I think now just got to wait for the wet period and also try to build some heat up in these tyres. May as well see if we can try and bag a cheeky fastest lap bonus point as well whilst we're at it here. A little bit wide through the final corner, but yeah, we'll see what we can do. Just make sure that we try and go purple. Every time he says yellow flag, that's really starting to annoy me. Well, green through sector 1, purple through sector 2, out of the final corner. What is the time going to be on the board? It's a 1:17.5. So hopefully that'll be enough then for fastest lap. Of course, if the weather does come in towards the end, it should stop anyone else going quicker. Should. I mean, we're getting quite lucky at the moment. Lando Norris and Carlos Sainz just battling with each other lap after lap. He's just opening up the gap even further. Charles Leclerc definitely still with some issues. He's dropping away, and Alex Albon and the Alpine still can't quite get close enough, so they're kind of forming a bit of a train behind. It really is just slotting into place for at the moment. There's 10 laps to go here from Imola. Sky's even. Definitely getting a little bit more overcast, but yeah, we've got nearly 8 seconds in the pocket, so even if we ended up having to box a lap after everyone else onto Inters, if it rains, then it shouldn't be too big of a worry. Bahrain issues seem a long time ago now. Right, okay. Team saying 5 minutes now till the rain, so we have got to think about it and start preparing. Oh, yellow flag's out. Latifi seems to be having issues late on in the day. Going on for Nicholas Latifi. He's out of the Grand Prix, and somehow, despite the fact we've got 2 separate yellow flags out, no safety car by the looks of it, so that's quite a surprise. Really did think whenever we got another mechanical failure it would bring out the safety car, but maybe now it'll make the game work out that it needs to remove Gasly's car. Abby, the answer to that question is going to be no. Latifi's car's been removed, Gasly's car still there running down at turn 1. Oh, there we go. There's the flash. The rain is here at Imola. 5 laps to go this afternoon. We've got 11 seconds now in hand over the cars behind, but is it going to get wet enough? Are we going to see some crazy strategies towards the end? We've just got to take as few risks as possible, as Kevin Magnussen now up into P5 momentarily. Go on, K-Mag! Coming on a bit stronger towards the end of the race. He's had a tough weekend as our teammate, but yeah, Ricciardo hangs on to the place for now. Well, there we go then. Track's just going to get wetter and wetter between now and the end of the Grand Prix. 4 laps to go. Still feels fine for now, but one error could be the difference. Oh, there we go. DRS disabled. So is it going to be worth boxing onto a set of intermediates here? Traveling a little bit at the top of the hill then. Normally when the when the FIA disabled DRS, it is worth making the switch onto a fresh set of the Inters, but no one else is doing it just yet.
Okay, the stewards have now disabled DRS.
Oh, this is difficult. 3 laps to go. What risks do we take and what risks do we try to avoid? If everyone else boxes behind me, we will peel in at the end of the next lap, but the rain is getting heavier here. Oh yeah, it's Inters. It's Inters, that lock-up down there. Surely we've got a box now onto a fresh set of the intermediate tyres here for the final 3 laps of the Grand Prix. Even if we're just losing a little bit of time briefly, we will potentially lose the place to Sainz, Norris and Leclerc. We should re-emerge still, I think, at about P4. But yeah, it's just not worth the risk at the moment. Are we going to see any other cars into the pit lane? No, we're not. Oh no. This is not looking good for us. 2.5 seconds stop. We've just got to hope that we're quicker than these guys then between now and the end of the Grand Prix. But the track is definitely getting slippery and more damp. We are going to re-emerge around Kevin Magnussen. But hopefully we're going to have a big advantage between now and the end of the Grand Prix. There's Hamilton, who we battled with earlier on. And surely already there. Look at that. None of the AI have got any grip. This might not be the wrong call. We might still have a fighting chance here. Straight at the inside of Hamilton will go. A little bit of contact there as both Mercs, both Haas side by side. Oh, we just need to find a way through as we've got so much more grip than George Russell. He squeezes me over the curbs down at Tosa. But yeah, I mean, we've definitely got a fighting chance still. Even if the AI don't box, these last few laps are going to get chaotic here at Imola, as now we've just got so much extra confidence over George. Back up into P6 of the Grand Prix. But those top three are a long, long way ahead. Whoa. Albon. I think Albon's going slowly there. Alex Albon, that's going to make one more overtake a whole lot easier. But backmarker cars into the pit lane. Are we going to see any of the top four into the pits there? Both McLarens and both Ferraris. No, we're not. So everyone else now is still trying to hang out here, but we have definitely made the right call. Ricciardo peels into the pit lane as we head out of the final corner, but still, Leclerc, Norris and Sainz have got 10, 11 seconds over me. Can we take that time out in just 2 laps? I mean, most of the other cars behind us have also peeled into the pit lane, including our teammate Kevin Magnussen, but Charles Leclerc 6 seconds up the road. We are taking so much time out of these cars, but when we get to them, you just got to keep it clean and tidy there. 5 seconds. It's just coming down everywhere. They had to take the gamble. These three just in front of us, if they wanted any chance at the race victory, and I honestly thought just 2 laps ago that maybe we had thrown this away. Carlos Sainz has built up a bit of a gap over Lando Norris, who is clearly really struggling to adjust to the conditions in his McLaren. But look at the grip around the outside of both cars there on the exit, and you don't often get races like this on F1 22, but Carlos Sainz 2 seconds up the road, and you know what? I'm not worried at all. So we head through the final corner, back to start the last lap. It has been 2 dramatic races here from Imola, but we are going to re-inherit the lead of the Grand Prix, and surely, you know, the likes of K-Mag and other drivers are going to be able to jump so many cars late on here, as onto the final lap will go. Maybe even Ricciardo can still get the jump on Charles Leclerc here. I mean, we took 15 seconds out of him last lap. Don't bottle it now on the final lap of the Grand Prix. Ricciardo could still get P2 in all of the commotion, as he's less than 20 seconds back from Charles Leclerc, and the track is just getting worse and worse on this final lap here at Imola. Like I said, changeable conditions predicted for both Grand Prix. We didn't quite see the track dry up on Saturday, but come race day Sunday, it has certainly got damp again, and we just cannot win normal races in the Haas Road to Glory. Again, please don't bottle it, Matt, towards the end of this one, but I think with this race victory and with the fastest lap bonus point, we will even inherit the lead of the Drivers' World Championship as well there. We were 7 points behind Sainz coming into this one, and we are going to leave, I think, 1 point ahead of the Spaniard through the chicane at the top of the hill for the final time. It has been a crazy, crazy weekend here from Imola. Ricciardo is taking bags of time out of Leclerc and Lando Norris, but I'm not sure he's going to get close enough by the end. Round in the final couple of corners, though, the gap for us is going to be even bigger than it was when we boxed originally, and we are going to come through for back-to-back race victories. We will take the win here in Imola. I was not expecting that.
Absolutely awesome. Just amazing, mate. Well done.
It's a performance that our Emilia-Romagna Grand Prix winners can be justifiably proud of, and I'm sure there'll be celebrations tonight. Anthony, tell me, what was it that helped them achieve this success?
Rain always has the potential to liven up a race and mix up the order, and they've taken full advantage of that to claim the victory today. It's always a bit of a lottery when the conditions are like this, but they've managed to stay on circuit and have come out on top.
The quality and fantastic result of the Haas team will have been noticed by everybody else out there today. And you can see why everyone's taking them so seriously. These drivers will be hot property by the end of the season. Let's review the drivers' standings. Mr. Monaco takes over the lead of the Drivers' Championship. Now, let's discuss, Ant. Who would you say is a contender for Driver of the Day?
Well, there was a lot of incredible driving out there today, but if I had to pick someone, it's got to be Sergio Perez. Fantastic driving.
Let's move on to the constructors. Ferrari take the lead at the top of the table. Well, that was certainly an exciting weekend of Formula One. Be sure to join us for more exciting Formula One action very soon.
Well, there we are then, the end of the Emilia-Romagna GP weekend, and we do take the race victory there. Fastest lap as well gives us the full 26 points there ahead of Carlos Sainz. Lando Norris P3 ahead of Charles Leclerc there. Ricciardo couldn't quite close up in the end. George Russell, Albon, Perez did recover the points there ahead of K-Mag, and Lewis Hamilton, who had such a disappointing end after what was looking like a very, very strong race early on there. Gasly and Latifi both not making it to the checkered flag, of course. Championship-wise, though, like I said, we do take the lead there, 1 point clear of Carlos Sainz. And yeah, Bahrain certainly feels like a long time ago now. We've had such a good run of form since then, since obviously Saudi, Australia, Imola as well. We've dropped just a handful of points since the opening weekend there. K-Mag still in P9, no real other movement, I don't think, up and down the rostrum. Constructors-wise, though, Ferrari do jump the lead in that championship, and we're just 7 points now behind Red Bull as we leave Imola this weekend, so a very, very good haul of points there as well for the team. But thank you all so much for watching this video. If you have enjoyed, please do make sure you leave a like, get yourself subscribed as well. Let me know down in the comments below whether you want the feature race and the sprint to be combined into one video for all future episodes of both Haas and the My Team career mode. It's been a long old recording, but we got there in the end. Thank you all so much, and we will return very, very soon with more F1 related content. None of these videos would be possible without the help of our channel members, so a massive thank you to all of the names you see on your screens currently for helping support the channel. You can join them by clicking the join button down below, and yeah, thank you once again to everyone that continues all the insane support on my work.